because they must learn, we must all learn, that the Spirit of God controls everything in the city of God, see? Mm-hmm. And so there are no traffic signals, see? Mm-hmm. Because the Spirit of God directs everything. This is how He does it. He puts the thought in our mind, which is, let's go to the river. Mm-hmm. And so we say, okay, let's go to the river. See, immediate obedience, willing obedience, see? And it's as though it was our own idea sometimes. Sometimes we say, well, I'd like to do this. And it's the Spirit of God directing us, because we're so yielded to the Spirit. Obey the Spirit, you hear preachers say. Mm-hmm. And that's the truth. That's where we have to learn to obey the Spirit of God.
I understand that, but when we first go to heaven, when I first get there, I'm going to this outer court, the suburbs first. Yeah. What exists there?
Oh, it looks very much like the earth, so that the transition, as you learn, the next lesson dare not be too heavy, too strong. And so there are trees, birds, pets, that's where the pets are, and flowers, and fellowship with the people.
Mountains, lakes?
Mountains, yeah, very high mountains, lakes. This is where the topography is very much like the earth.
It sounds like a nice place itself.
It is. Some people want to stay here, but, you know, we have to grow.
We have described the suburbs of heaven. Yes. Now the heavenly city itself, the New Jerusalem, yes. The second part right. of this heaven, is how large?
I believe that its actual size, as the Bible gives, 12,000 furlongs. Now this is just a little bit short of 1,500 miles. That's a pretty big place.
1,500 miles long?
Right. High and wide and deep, long, however you want to say that.
A great cube of a city.
Cube, right.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the most holy place of Moses' tabernacle, 4 square.
And there are gates around the city.
12 gates, right. And the gates, the Apostle John talks about them being shut mm-hmm. and not being open and never shut. And yet they look shut. And he calls them a pearl. So to get all these things together, mm-hmm. you know, a pearl is white. It's you can look into a pearl, and yet you can touch the surface of it. The white isn't on the surface. That's what it looks like. You approach the gate, you see this light, and as you go towards the light, you can see into the light, and you walk right through the light into the city.
You're enveloped by the gate.
Right. And so the gate is never open, it's never shut, it's just you can always walk into it, because that's what John means when he says never shut, because you can walk right through this. Looks like a pearl. The wall of the city looks white too, and bright. And the gates are very high. 3 gates in each side. And as we come close to the city, we can see the 3 gates. And there seems to be decoration around the gates, different colored, not exactly like a rainbow, but somehow they're colored. If I would describe them a certain way, the next minute they'd be a different way, because things change, you know. But over the gate, there's a name. One of the 12 tribes of Israel. Their names are written over top of the gates. One name for each gate. That's right. And over top of the eastern gate is the name Issachar, one of the 12 tribes.
St. Peter isn't at the gate.
No, that idea of St. Peter allowing us in, that's not quite right.
By the time we got that far, we're in.
Right. They know us, and the angels call us by name.
They have a record of...
They have a record of our...
They recognize us?
Yes, recognize us. Angels know us, not just by our name, but by our character, and by the fact that we're saved by the blood of Jesus. Wonderful. And wearing this robe of righteousness. We look very much like the angels in this nice, long, white, shining garment. Oh, I might mention that inside the gate, it looks like a large hallway. You've probably been in churches with large domes and big hallway. That's sort of what it's like, because the gate is 216 feet thick. And that makes a nice long hallway. And then on the sides of the hallway, are archways like a third of a circle. You know, they're not sharp like this, just like a third of a circle. And in those places are what on earth would be offices, and our records are kept. So when we greet the angel at the gate, he is there to welcome us.
Is he outside the gate?
No, he's inside the gate.
Inside the gate.
He's inside the gate. And he's at the end of the hallway, just before you step into the holy part, the holy place, that part of heaven. He's there, and he greets you. And there could be other angels there to greet those who are coming in. That's going to be our homecoming. Beautiful experience. I mean, that's what you look forward to, you know, entering the eastern gate. By the way, the reason we go in at the eastern gate is because the throne of God faces that eastern gate.
Faces the eastern
Right.
gate. Now we've talked about, we mentioned angels. Again, you'd said the angels first took you to heaven,
Yes.
talked among themselves and
Yes.
said they were going to take you to heaven, and now we're being greeted by angels, and that's our homecoming.
Yes, right.
What do angels look like?
Well, angels appear to be 7 feet tall. They seem to always appear to be 7 feet tall because they're sent on errands. When God sends an angel on an errand, then they take this size of 7 feet and they go and do the job. See, very friendly beings, and they seem to want to be our servants and serve us. Now, the angels I saw did not have wings.
None of them has wings.
Well, some of them do, like seraphims and those who attend God at his throne, the 4 living creatures, like having 6 wings. But they're special beings. They're different from the ordinary, shall we say, if you can say that, from the regular class of angels.
Is anything ordinary in heaven?
No, not very. Heaven is a very special place.
Out of the ordinary.
I try to encourage everybody to go there.
But to go there, we have to get ready here.
We have to get right here. That's right. Get our name written in the Lamb's Book of Life and be ready.
We have now entered the wonderful Eastern Gate, through the Hall of Records,
Yes.
had a homecoming with the angels,
Right.
and now what do we see?
The first thing we see is the tree of life. Now, I used to think this was one tree, but it is a row of trees that contain the fruit alongside of the river of life. But first, I'd like to tell you about a piece of fruit I tasted.
Yes.
It looked sort of like a pear, smooth skin, you know, and it was juicy. When I took a bite out of it, I just couldn't stop the juice from running down my arm and dripping off my elbow. Juicy. You know, I thought, oh boy, I'm all stained, but it didn't.
There was no stain.
No stain, no. I read another lady ate the same piece of fruit, so I was pretty sure that I was right on that to confirm what I saw, you know. And now this fruit grows, as John says, different fruit every month. And when somebody takes a piece of fruit, another piece appears right away, because there are a lot of people partaking of the fruit, and this is where a lot of time is spent in heaven, partaking of the fruit.
You say a different fruit every month. Do you mean it could be a pear 1 month, an apple?
Yes, right, different types of fruit. And while one fruit is coming ripe, there are flowers on the tree, fragrant flowers, that are going to be the next fruit. Enoch saw this place. He said, oh, the fragrance. Really terrific, you know.
So you said before we have all of our senses, smell, touch,
Yes,
hearing.
right.
You could smell the blossoms?
Oh, yes.
You could taste the fruit?
Oh, my mouth was watering.
You see it, you taste it, you
Yes,
smell it,
touch it, right.
feel it,
Right.
the tree of life,
Yes, very delicious.
and then the river of life.
Yes, just beyond the tree of life then is the river of life. Now it's called the Crystal River, or the River of Life, whatever you want to call it. One day my angel guide said, today we're going to step in the river. I said, oh, but I've got shoes on. And I looked at my feet, I didn't have any shoes on. So I don't really think we wear shoes in heaven. And we just like to walk around on the grass. You know? So anyway, we stepped into the river. Now, it's not cold, wet water, but it is exhilarating. You know,
It's refreshing. Like
refreshing. Perhaps as a boy you stuck your toe in the cold water in the springtime, you know, ooh.